Kia ora koutou. Ko te rarawa te ao Pauri me Ngāti Kahunga iwi. I am Dr. Macarena Dudley from the University of Auckland. I'm delighted to introduce the Māori assessment of neuropsychological abilities, which we will refer to as the mana. The mana is a suite of measures that have been developed to improve the assessment of mate wareware, dementia, for Māori. I would like to thank the many people, especially all those kaumātua, who were involved in the development of the mana. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou. The mana promotes the use of te reo. There is both an English version and a Māori language version. In the English version, phonetic pronunciations are provided for Māori words. In this video, we will discuss the structure of the mana and demonstrate how to administer the mana in te reo Māori with the use of an interpreter. We will also provide other information that will assist the administrator in obtaining optimal results when using the mana.
Kia ora, ko Ronga Whakaata, ko Aitanga Mahaki ngā iwi. Ko Olive Menzies, Takawingoa. I'm Oliver Menzies. I'm a geriatrician and general physician working at Te Tokotumai, Auckland Hospital. I'm part of the team Macarena has led in developing the mana tool. I'd like to talk about the structure of the mana tool. The mana tool has 4 key components. There is a history-taking tool, which guides you through taking a comprehensive history when seeing someone for assessment of memory and thinking issues. There is a functional whānau or family tool, which assesses symptoms and signs from a whānau, friend or caregiver perspective. This component is scored, with higher scores on this component indicating more symptoms and signs suggestive of mate wareware or dementia. There is a cognitive tool, which is also scored, with lower scores on this component indicating impaired cognition suggestive of mate wareware dementia. Finally, there is a wairua and wellbeing tool. In our research with kaumātua or older Māori and their whānau, we found that some of the concepts that kaumātua found important in understanding and experiencing mate wareware were not inquired about in usual assessment. These include things such as wairua or spirit and changes in role or identity. The wairua and wellbeing tool was constructed from that research. All components of the mana may take up to an hour to administer. We suggest the interview uses the hui process format, published by Lacey, Huria, Beckett, Gillies and Pitama. This includes mihi, greeting, whakawhanaungatanga, establishing connection, kaupapa, the purpose, i.e. taking the history and assessments, then at the end, poropora aki, farewell. You can start with the history-taking tool, then before the examination part, use the wairua and wellbeing tool. After this, you could start the examination section, and while completing the cognitive tool with the kaumātua, give the functional whānau family tool to whānau to complete, which helps to save time. There is an instruction manual available online, and this contains further information about the tool, including interpreting the results.
Administration of the cognitive assessment will follow administration of the wairua and wellbeing tool. You will need the test form, pictures for naming, a pen or pencil, and a timer. Make sure the person is feeling comfortable and explain to them that they will be asked some questions and also asked to do some tasks. It is important not to help the person with any of the answers on the cognitive assessment or tell them if they are right or wrong. Administration and detailed scoring guidelines are provided in the mana instruction manual. When using the skills of a translator, it is crucial they are provided with clear instructions prior to the start of the assessment. Importantly, they must provide only a word-for-word translation. More detailed instructions for working with a translator are provided in the administration manual. The first section deals with orientation. Question 1 and 2 assesses if the person knows the week, month, season, and year, as well as where they are. Each correct answer gets a point. Each incorrect answer gets 0. Use prompts provided if needed. You may need to write down and confirm answers at the end of the test.
Kia ora, Taurangi.
Kia ora, Lynette.
I'm going to ask you some questions and also ask you to do some tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Benefit Week?
No, it isn't.
No. What month is it?
October.
What season is it?
Winter,
And what year is it?
2023.
Ka pai. What is this place where we are right now?
At the doctor's in Browns Road.
What is the name of this city?
Manukau City.
Questions 3, 4 and 5 involve different aspects of language. Understanding words and repeating them, understanding words and sentences by completing an action, and picture naming. You will need the 5 pictures for this task. When asking the person to look at the ceiling, then the floor, make sure you look straight ahead and not at the ceiling, and give the whole instruction all at once. They must respond in the correct order to get a score of 1. For the picture naming task, present each picture one at a time.
Kia ora. Now I would like you to repeat word for word exactly what I say. Listen carefully because I'm only able to say it once. Neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there.
Kia ora. Now I'm going to say another sentence, and again I want you to repeat it word for word exactly what I say. Mm-hmm. A tui can fly into a whare when it's wet and windy.
A tui can fly into a whare when it's wet and windy.
Ka pai. Now I'm going to ask you to carry out some actions. Again, listen carefully because I can only say them once. Please nod your head. Kia ora. Before looking at the floor, please look at the ceiling. Kia ora. I'm going to show you some pictures now. I want you to tell me what they are.
Penguin. Marae. Tiki. Puaka. Poi.
Good. Okay.
Question 6 is a memory task. The person is given the context of going to the shop and asked to remember a list of 5 things to buy. Read the 5 items at 1 word per second. Record responses in the table beside trial 1, then reread the list, recording responses in trial 2. Only score the number of correct items given on the second trial. Let them know they will be asked about these items in about 5 minutes' time.
Imagine we're going to the shop. I'm going to read to you a list of things to buy, and I'd like you to remember that list and tell me as many as you can. Are you ready?
Yes.
Soap, tea, cabbage, batteries, newspaper. Now tell me.
Soap, tea, cabbage, batteries, newspaper.
Kia ora. Now I'm going to read the same list a second time. Again, listen carefully and try and remember all the items on the list. Soap, tea, cabbage, batteries, newspaper.
soap, tea, cabbage, batteries, newspaper.
Kia ora. Now, in about 5 minutes, I will ask you what the items are on that list.
The next task, question 7a, involves working memory, rearranging items in your mind. Administer question 7a only if the person can spell the word kai. Otherwise, move to question 7b and administer that instead. If the person can spell kai but cannot understand how to spell kai backwards, also proceed to question 7b. If the person is able to attempt question 7a, do not administer 7b, but move to question 8. If administering question 7b, read the numbers out 1 per second and keep your intonation the same on all numbers.
I'd like you to spell the word kai.
Kai.
If I asked you to spell the word kai backwards, you would say I.
A-K.
Now, please spell the word hongi backwards.
I-G-N-O-H.
Kia ora. Now I'm going to say some numbers to you. When I stop, I want you to say these numbers to me backwards. For example, if I say 8, 2, what would you say?
2, 8.
That's right. Now listen to these numbers and then say them to me backwards. 7, 3, 1.
1, 3, 7.
Kia ora. One more. 8, 2, 7, 9.
9, 7, 2, 8.
Kia ora.
Question 8 involves identifying how two things are similar, which involves abstraction, a type of executive function. It is important to explain the task carefully and to complete the practice item before continuing on to the 2 test items. Write down the responses and check the administration guide for correct answers.
Now I'm going to name 2 things, and I want you to tell me how similar or how alike they are. For example, if I say, how are kiwi and kia alike, you would say they're both birds or they're both animals. Now we'll have a practice. Tell me how a kumara and puha are similar.
They are vegetables.
Good, good. Now, can you tell me how shovel and rake are similar?
They are used in gardening.
Good. Now tell me how waiata and korero are similar.
They are correspondence, communication, expressions.
Question 9 involves naming as many animals as they can think of. This measures fluency of generating animal names and long-term memory and word retrieval. You will time the person for 1 minute and record their responses. Now we will test for memory recall. Question 10 asks people to remember the list of things we were going to buy at the shop. If the person cannot recall any of the items on the list, you may prompt them with the first item, soap. Score only items that were not prompted.
Now, remember the list of things we were going to buy at the shop? Can you tell me what's on that list?
Soap, tea, cabbage, batteries, newspaper.
Kia ora.
The next task, question 11, the Luria test, involves performing a sequences of motor actions. The person is asked to imitate hand motions performed by the assessor. This task is sensitive to executive dysfunction as it requires a number of executive functions, including execution of a learned motor program, inhibitory control, attentional flexibility, and motor planning. It is important that you demonstrate the motor series correctly: fist, edge, palm. After performing this series 3 times using the left hand, ask the person to do the same with you, using the hand they use most. Perform the series 3 times with the person, then ask them to do it on their own. Allow them to complete 6 series on their own. It is important to record how many of the 3 copied series they complete correctly and how many series, up to 6, they complete on their own. Allocation of points is described on the test form or in the administration guide.
Now, look carefully at what I'm doing. Now, with the hand you use most, do the same series of actions with me. Now you do it on your own and stop when I tell you to stop.
Okay.
Let's carry on. Kia ora.
Question 12 is the final task and involves copying pictures of shapes. You need to provide the client with a pencil or a pen to do this. Scoring details are provided in the manual.
Now, please copy this picture exactly as it looks to you. Goodbye. Now, please copy this exactly as it looks to you. And now we're up to the last question. Please copy this exactly as it looks to you. Right, that's all the questions. Ngā mihi te rangi.
Kia ora. Kia koe.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.